Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie Samuel reporting, and welcome to episode 8 of my Euro 2020 podcast, bringing you all the latest updates on Euro 2020. I'm joined by Holmesglen Bachelor of Sports Media student Stewart Kavenagh, my second guest on this podcast. Stewart, thanks so much for joining my podcast tonight. How are you doing?
Fantastic, mate. Thanks for having me.
That's all good. You study at Holmesglen. What year are you currently in of the course?
First year.
And can you tell us a little bit about what you write about for the Euros and where you do it?
I've just been doing daily reviews of the not before game weeks at the Sports Bank.
Cool. So over the last day we've seen Italy top Group A with a perfect record. I predicted in my last podcast that they would defeat Wales 1-0, and so they did. It was Matteo Pessina's strike in the 39th minute that ensured the Italians progressed as group winners with a 100% record, whilst Wales will also progress to the last 16, sitting second on goal difference. Stewart, the Italians have been ruthless in their group, qualifying perfectly on top. Take us through what you believe has been the factor about Italy's performance.
I think it's just their stability in their team selection. I know they changed the whole team around for that third game, but I think they've won or been undefeated in 30 games straight now. And from being a bit of I don't want to say outsider, but I feel like they weren't really talked about as a favourite. I feel like they're in a prime position at the moment to maybe make it all the way. I feel like they'd be disappointed if they didn't at least make a semi-final at this point.
Yeah, well, you kind of just answered the next question about how far you believe Italy can go in the knockout stages if they continue to perform this way. So you really believe they can go all the way?
Yeah, I do. I mean, they're 30 games undefeated. They've looked sublime in the tournament, and you'd be a brave man to bet against them at this point.
For sure. Switzerland have set themselves up for a chance of qualifying from third after a 3-1 win over Turkey. Seferovic's long-range 6-minute strike got the Swiss off to the perfect start. 20 minutes later, Xherdan Shaqiri struck another long-range effort. Turkey finally scored their first goal of the tournament through a stunning strike from long range from Irfan Khan Kavachi, just after the hour mark. But Turkish hopes faded when Shaqiri struck back with his second goal within 5 minutes. This result gives Switzerland a great chance of progression from third. Stewart, what was your take on the Swiss performance, and do you believe we haven't seen the last of them yet?
I thought it was a terrific performance. I thought Shaqiri in particular was great. I'm a big fan of Brillambolo as well. I think he's a tremendous player, and they were talking big before that game last night about how they're trying to learn from their mistakes and push past that round of 16 hurdle that they've faced at their last few international tournaments. So
cool. This was a very disappointing tournament for Turkey. Only one goal and rock bottom of the group with all 3 games lost. What was your take on their performance this year?
I don't want to be too harsh on the Turkish, but honestly, they've been trash. They probably got what they deserved. They got no points. They had Yilmaz, who played for Lille last season, won the French league, and I just expected a lot more from him. And I think he only had Yilmaz in particular. He only had 2 shots on target for the whole tournament. And if your number 9 isn't hitting the shots off, well, then you kind of get what you deserve, don't you?
100%. In other news, some exciting upcoming matches include Belgium taking on Russia at the St. Petersburg Stadium. They'll take on Finland at the St. Petersburg Stadium, my mistake. Finland had a real quality tournament, but the question is whether they will be able to beat a quality side with as much class as Belgium to secure their place in the knockout stage for the first time in their history. Stewart, what makes Belgium one of the best sides in the comp, and how far do you believe they can go after the group stage in the knockout stage?
Well, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better midfield and forward line than the Belgians have. They're ranked number 1 in the world for a reason. I think everyone saw in that Denmark game, Denmark really pushed them in the first half, but then they bring on De Bruyne and Eden Hazard a little bit after, and they just couldn't hang with them. So I think the only question mark with Belgium is their defence. It's a little bit old, but when you can score goals like they can, I feel like they're a good shout for the final. So
Wonderful. Can Finland possibly do what they did to Denmark and cause a massive upset to get themselves with a knockout stage place for the first time?
I wish I could claim that I found this stat on my own, but I didn't. I actually seen it on the Optus Sport warm-up show. Belgium haven't beaten Finland in their last 7 matches against them, so that goes back to the early 60s, I think, though. So I don't know if they've played each other that many times. I think it would go up there as one of the biggest shocks in Euro history if they could manage to steal some points off of Belgium. I think they'd be very happy if they managed to draw, to be honest.
Fair enough. And Russia face a stern 10 in Denmark at the Parken Stadium in Copenhagen. Russia found their feet to defeat an informed Finland in round 2, and if they can get the win over Denmark, knockout stage football looms for them. Stewart, will Russia get the job done and advance to the knockout stage?
No, I don't think they will. I think they've been poor. I think they've probably got one of the weakest squads at the tournament too. And honestly, everyone who's not Russian is surely throwing their support behind Denmark after the incident that happened in round 1. They'll have the home support behind them, and I think Denmark will actually get the job done, and Russia might struggle to qualify. They might go home, actually.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if Denmark do get the win, it will only put them on 3rd place there. It would really be a salvage of pride for Denmark at this point of the tournament, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, but there is that. There's the key. The key. There's the thing with the best place, 3rd place teams. I think 4 of them go through. So maybe if they can bang a few past the Russian goalkeeper, they might sneak in. But yeah, I think what you're saying is right. They're playing for pride at this point.
Yeah, because finishing 3rd on only 3 points probably wouldn't be good enough, considering a few teams are likely to finish with 4 points or more. So the Ukraine will face Austria in a game that will determine who will come 2nd place in Group C. It could be a real tight game, and a draw could still see Austria progress from 3rd on 4 points. Stewart, the Ukraine really have shown quality in their first 2 group stage matches, pushing the Netherlands all the way by only going down 3-2 before getting their first win over North Macedonia in round 2. Do you believe Ukraine start as favourites to secure the 2nd place in Group C with a win?
Yeah, I do. They've been impressive. I don't know a lot about the Ukrainian team. Pretty much Zinchenko is all I knew before this tournament started. But their coach Shevchenko, he's got them playing real well, and I'd be surprised if they didn't beat Austria.
What do you believe Austria have to do in order to stop a team of Ukraine's quality and ensure they get an upset win to progress?
I don't know. Maybe park the bus and try and hit them on the counter attack. I'm not sure, is Arnautovic still suspended after game week 1?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe get him on the pitch. He sure looked pretty pumped when he came on. He seemed to change the game for him. So maybe if he's eligible, starting him for the full 90 might help. But honestly, it's an uphill battle for Austria at this point, I think.
Yeah, could be packing their bags likely.
Absolutely.
Finally, the Netherlands will round up Group C at the Johan Cruyff Arena. They are expected to qualify with a 100% record and send North Macedonia home without any points from their first international tournament. Stewart, what do you believe the outcome of this game will be and why?
Well, I mean, it's a Netherlands win all day long. I think they've just got too much quality all the way across the park. I wouldn't mind seeing Pandev score a goal for North Macedonia. There's rumours about that it might be his last game in professional football. He's going to hang up the boots after this one. What I really want to see is, Memphis Depay just signed that just signed a contract with Barcelona, and I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of him, just showing the world what he can do ahead of the move to Barca. But to answer your question, it's a win all day long for the Netherlands. 3-4, maybe even 5-0.
Yeah, sounds reasonable. And Stuart, how far do you believe the Dutch will go in the knockout stages? Considering the performances they've had so far and the quality they possess, is it finally their time for some silverware after all this time?
I think when we get down to the real quality, I think the Netherlands might have their weaknesses shown a bit. Which, admittedly, on the park, I don't know where they are exactly, but I think on the touchline, Frank de Boer, I don't think he's got it in him. The players are against the 5-3-2. They want to play 4-3-3. I think all of that might, you can gloss over that when you're playing the likes of North Macedonia or it escapes me right now the teams they played, but when you get to the real, cream of the crop, you have to play Portugal or Germany or Belgium or in England. I feel like those little problems will be magnified and it could hurt them. So I don't think they can.
That's a shame because I personally would really love to see the Dutch do it. I mean, I think they play some wonderful football and, it's really great to see them back on the world stage after missing the last two major tournaments. So I think if they can continue, they should really push to win it and show the world that they're not done with yet. And that concludes episode 8 of my Euro 2020 podcast. Stuart, thanks so much for your time and patience to be on this podcast with me tonight, and good luck for the rest of your studies at Holmesglen. I look forward to having you on my podcast potentially again later in the tournament.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
You're all good. Remember, if you're keen to be a guest on this podcast, you can reach me on my email in the video description or via the LinkedIn profile in the description. I look forward to bringing you more action in the next 24 hours when we find out more teams who are going to be progressing and more teams who are booking flights home. Thanks for stopping by and listening. This is becoming a great gig, and I look forward to bringing you more football action from the Euros soon.